Regardless of what status or how the male or man, the one who wears the pants, the one who has testes and penis, whenever you so choose to ascribe the black woman or any female really, however, more specifically, anytime that a melanated man or male will go through and do an open dialogue on what he ascertains is a fake and Eurocentric conversion of the black woman. Now, let's go ahead and break that down as to what I just said and perhaps make it a bit more comprehensible. And we'll speak in Ebonics also. When the black male, black man, regardless of what socioeconomic status, regardless of what class, regardless if he curses and uses explicit language, or if he speaks eloquently without using such language. His dialogue has little to no adequacy when he brings urgency and importance and priority to the melanated woman's appearance, assimilation, choices of using makeup, cosmetic products, decisions in how she wishes to assemble herself, and whatever such approaches of her, assembles herself and applies makeup or does not, whatever the thought is or whatever the stereotype assigned to her is invalid and is pretty much pointless and is a discussion that should be left off of the assignment of priority. How I choose to dress is not, I repeat, not an effort of being that which I'm already mixed with, for one. And many of those women that you have insulted and just basically judged them and called them fake, okay? You're saying that they're trying to look white. And let me insert this also. Most of those media actors and pawns, okay, they are at a different caliber of status. And also, many of them are males pretending or portraying or assimilating as women. So often cases, what you're seeing in the media in regards to the representation of the so-called black woman, more specifically the so-called African American woman, if there was ever such a thing, those are males. It might make much sense as to why they would be acting like that. Now, what the male, black male, specifically considers to be a real woman, once again, his thoughts and opinions and bias and hypocrisy, really, I take no offense personally. However, on behalf of women, especially of melanated women, whether you are mixed or darker skin, you're all beautiful. Most of my female relatives, specifically on the sperm donor side, are the most gorgeous, in my opinion, and their skin very dark, rich, beautiful, just everything. Their spirit, with or without makeup, long, natural hair. yes, sometimes they would straighten it. However, I do not consider her even straightening her hair pretending to be European. And how could they be when they already have that genetic inclusion? Hypocrisy. Furthermore, you cannot pretend to be something that you're not. And just because it doesn't appear the way that you assume that it's supposed to look like, it does not apply. Now, as far as, some of it is a bit overdone and way too flamboyant and loud, and an expression that for my taste, I don't really consider. But once again, let's put it out there. Most of those ones, especially being motivated and pushed and promoted and shown through media, are males. Are males that appear to be women. In the efforts of, we can conclude and basically assume, but basically conclude that it is done in effort to humiliate and destroy and cause this hostility and bring this false validity and degrading, disrespecting, and attempting to control the women. Furthermore, I don't want to hear a thing about black women and how she should assimilate to the black male's taste. Invalid. Your desires were placed ahead of ours. We took on and replicated and ignored our intuition. Okay? In the efforts of so-called love and holding you down and sticking to your side and defending you, sometimes even harder than you would for yourself. Making excuses for you. Being abused by you. Hearing your pity-patty cries about how he won't let me and he won't hire me. Has it ever dawned on you to admit to yourself that he don't have to hire you? Why don't you tell all your friends, since you've got so much influence and since it's so easy for you to talk about females to your males, why don't you tell your relatives and friends to stop working for that one? Why don't you tell your friends to stop celebrating a holiday that supports and sees it as something to be celebrated? The murder, exploitation, raping, pillaging, and relocation and lie of my history, your history. I was not put on a boat, and I certainly did not come from your rib. God did not make you first, nor do we even care to say that God made the woman first, but for scientific sake, and on behalf of truth, the woman was present first. Your ego and fragile spirit has blinded you from what is natural and what is priority, what is of importance. It's not important that you can purchase a car. It's more important, and actually it is astonishing, admirable, something appreciated. It is a true gift. It is wealth. That's the real wealth, and not purchasing the vehicle, but actually creating one. Instead of demeaning us and subjugating us to a status of which you do not determine and dictate what that is. Your delusion that would allow you to even run your mouth to say that she is fake. And oftentimes they are, but mostly when they are fake, especially when it's the media, those are not women. They do not have wombs. Those are the reenactment of women done by none other than whom? Male, melanated, betrayer, the one who takes no responsibility for the situation we're in, but puts all the burden and places it on who he assumes to be the scapegoat for him. It was a sacrifice to you what you did to our character. And for you men, even the ones who are educated on this, you don't speak out enough about what this is going on, which is abuse, cowardice, deflection from speaking the real truth. If you're going to come really hard and then make such disgraceful topics and then compare us grassroots on the plantation, compare us to a man who is dressed up as a woman, is insulting. Those are not us. If you would look at us day to day and how many times disrespected, how many men trying to maneuver themselves and use these tactics such as manipulation and fear and pressure and weapons, not even money, because you called us gold diggers back then. Remember how it was more important for us to pleasure you. And then you turn around, whether you got to be pleasured or not, and disrespected us for your status, for you to get clout. That was more important to you. If you had actually been interested in uplifting us, and mind you, I don't hate you, and I don't wish nothing on you. When it was important, when you had my interest, when it would have been needed, you weren't there. And this whole dialogue, I mean, there maybe are two, and we know one to be Angel, and then the other one, I don't recall his name, but I know he's on through Cynthia. And we've been watching, and we've heard it, and we've known, so we're just in the background, and we're like, okay, do your thing. But it's like, look, even when it's coming from sources that 95% of the cases of which you do your videos, I agree with. But when even the intellectually aware and the eloquently spoken and almost scholarly, if you will, although I don't really give validation to such a thing. Now, but I just did. Even when the one who can, break down the whole structure and whatnot, for you to go in and dedicate a video to appearances and then compare us not with the appropriate measures. On a collective scale, yes. But it's not just black women, okay? On a collective scale, yes. Females are very materialistic, okay? Are very appearance focused, okay? And they want to get their nails done and they want the new shoes and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be a stripper, whoop-de-wop. But let's not also, if you're going to highlight that one, then you need to highlight also where a lot of those social engineering tactics come into play, where even some of the most intuitive, where even some of the most educated, even some of the most intellectual, even some of the most, had home training and were taught. Even then, even in those situations, there have been several situations as to where we had to consider and make a choice. And it came down to survival or challenge. And a lot of those, even when you're knowing, even when you're intuitive, even when you know better, even when you were trained better, there have been cases where your force and the misuse of it has been the factor used in submitting the woman, more specifically the black woman's will. Okay? And because our nurturing spirit, our ability to forgive, our ability to love those who fucking hate us, including the ones that we birth, disgusting. So you may be intelligent enough to go through the system. However, that case in which you come and disrespect and tell her and order her is where you have an error and flaw in your cognitive mechanism, because you're deflecting and you're not prioritizing what the main issue is. And furthermore, go ahead and eliminate this delusion that you've got going on, as if we are trying to look like the European. There may be those, especially in the media. And once again, most of those are not fucking women. So for the misguided and the programming that females go through, and then the subjugation, and then the let's not hide this one to where the bullying that goes on, especially if we're in the population, not community, but population of middle school, high school, even elementary kids schools, even elementary school kids who will bully, antagonize, humiliate, disrespect, and chastise, single out, and make a scapegoat, tease, and be derogatory, and uphold this culture of stupidity when speaking. We were often told, you think you're better than someone? Oh, you think you're cute? And why you talk like that? You sound white. Why you talk white? Which one of your parents is white? This you gave energy to, because must be what's practiced at home, or the lack thereof, or whatever they're surrounded by. They're picking this up from somewhere and then bringing this stupidity culture into the ones who wanted to liberate you, and then eventually just really got sick of you because of the abuses and the ability to see the arrogance even in some of the most scholarly and intellectual, and has certificates, has diplomas. Even you fall short, because when you're picking on and telling her that she has to appropriate to your standard, there is a red flag that should be a sounding alarm that goes off. You do not criticize and critique the males to this standards. And who gave you the authority to believe and convince yourself that you're the one to tell her how to assimilate? Now, furthermore, and yes, the different colors, rainbow colors, that's their business. Too much for my taste. However, I don't make it my priority to that is not at the top of my list as problems of today. My problems of today is your ass being murdered, my ass being murdered, violated, humiliated, taxed on my own fucking goddamn. And you wanted to integrate with this. And then we have to bring up some facts here to where it was a courage and bravery found in Black males who were able to fight and advocate and voice and confront how they wanted to and were entitled to marry white women. And on that, I'm going to end this one here. How come anytime that we are attractive with or without makeup, you assimilate that to European? Stop. It's foolish, because this is something that the European sadist so-called wife, so-called sadist, the abuser, the one that I survived, okay? And he submits to. Instead of having dignity and his young children, me, his daughter, calling someone his cuckold fucking children princess. You know what? I don't need titles. And dare you say, please, Black males, don't open your mouth and say anything about how I'm the queen and go be with the king. Honestly, nowhere on my list is anything saying that I need to marry you, and nor is it my priority to even give a damn to go enter into that, for one. And because you're giving energy to a ritual and a practice that really don't stand for nothing, okay? Furthermore, this is not to discredit the real men who are actually, when I do hear them, it's like, wow, great. And you know what? It does something to me, which we will not discuss. But yeah, anytime that our hair is a certain way, relaxers does not equivalent trying or pretending or desiring to be European, and you need to stop. Stop. Now, I don't flat iron my hair no more. That don't make it any better for me to talk disrespectful and talk down to and demean anyone for choosing to do so. That is their choice. Just because it looks that way to you doesn't mean that you need to oppose anyone with your thoughts. You should be educated enough and established enough to know that. Now, I'll agree with one thing. It looks mighty strange. Darker skinned melanated women putting blonde in their hair. However, hold on. I have brown blondish hair, being that I'm mixed. And I even made a bad choice back when I was a teenager by allowing a peer to dye my hair, which, I mean, in all honesty, I needed to learn that because, first of all, should never allow someone to do whatever to my hair to begin with. For two, what the fuck to trust my hair in someone else's, being that. We won't get into that. But it damaged my hair really bad. And you probably can even see that. But anyways, relaxers does not mean at all that that's what you're trying to do. And it does not even mean that she hates her hair. It doesn't mean any of that. It's her choice. And how dare you? Okay? How dare you? And I won't say the name, but I watched the video. And I actually, like I said, 95% of what he has to say, I actually agree with. However, this one, I don't take this personally. I'm defending the truth. How dare you acknowledge that God is embodied? We are, okay? And then turn around and then have a disclaimer or some guideline. This is the problem with males, is you want us to abide to you, but you don't have the best interest in yourself. You're not pushing for something of the best interest of yourself. And sadly and unfortunately and consequently, us women, there is an acknowledgement of things that we don't even say to you in defense of your fragility, because you want to be the leader so desperately that you're willing to degrade your genius for the sake, and also you're willing to degrade and withhold information and education to feel better than her. But we know what the truth is, because the truth has came and it's been said and it's been shown time and time again. So when you come around, and it's not just in one physical format, when you come around and have to say demeaning, derogatory, and then you say it more than once, to try and attempt to knock me off and for me to come down to your level and to waste my energy in a tit for tat back and forth. But yeah, we are better than that. And the key word is better. And it's sad that she has to tone down herself, whatever. It doesn't matter how she decorate herself. That's her choice. And honestly, that is not of the utmost urgency and priority of the things that need to be spoken about. And the sooner you're humble enough to realize that, the sooner things will change. And until then you're going to see these things. And we, as often, we're assumed to be male bashers and male haters, which is the furthest thing from the truth. We love you more than you love yourself. But you hate yourself so much that you're willing to sacrifice us. And that's exactly what you did. And now we don't even care. We're not out to hunt you and crucify you. I just find it odd how you have the audacity to tell me what to do, even still to this day. You don't listen. And there's a reason why I talk. Okay, it's great that you're able to talk, but if you're able to talk educate me. Don't demean me, nor do you control me and tell me what to do. Especially when you're comparing me to males who are portraying and pretending and putting on an act as a female when they are not. You can't, that's not a proper analysis when you're comparing me to a male. Of course, the male is going to be freaky and perverted and and will jump on board to make a disgrace and mockery out of us, because that's the point. And you buy into it and then dare say that you're doing a good thing. I don't need any good or bad. It's just that when us Black females and women have shown and done, and oftentimes most of the work that we do isn't even seen as such, and nor do we go pat ourselves and go get trophies and have an award show and shit, because none of that shit matters. But all the while we do these things which are showing in the present day the sacrifices we make, because we sacrifice fear on behalf of the cowards. By the majority are cowards, because once again, no matter how many excuses are given back, the truth will always meet your ass right there. When you make excuses, oh, you shouldn't have allowed it. Oh, you should have known. Why'd you go against your intuition? How come you belittle him? How come you don't work? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not supposed to do none of that. And I'm doing more work than I should be doing on behalf of the absence of this so-called male leader, which honestly, you're showing that not only are you fearful and not only are you unwilling to go to war, but then you want her to be right there with you, to fight with you, but yet we do it without you. And you are not witness to it most of the times, to the point where we do defend ourselves and against, not only just against this beast, but against you also, whether it's physically or with your words, or your inability to offer protection because you deem us as unworthy based off of appearance, and you don't even know the half of it. You don't know the half of it, of the programming she's been through. You don't know. And a lot of it is at your fault due to your willingness and you condoning it. So when your eyes finally opened and you were done being a whore, okay, or you were done playing the whore, now you want to settle down and you want me to come fight the battle with you? I defend. I don't come and do your job until you realize that. And you don't control me. You don't tell me what to do, just like I'm not telling you what to do. These are just suggestions. How you dress is not an excuse for me to call you fake. However, what is fake? What is fake? Okay? She chooses to do that. Do I agree with it? Not with the flamboyant and out loud and craziness. However, again, males, not females. Those are males. And as for the females that did succumb to that and go all the way out, not even they go out that far. And even then, what are they doing it for? Usually to get resources and to pay bills and stuff. I mean, look. Your priority right now is to defend your survival and existence. And I'm not ordering you to do that. I'm just telling you what's at the top of the list of priority. Any part of nature would know this. I mean, there are vegetable plants that I'm growing. There are vegetable plants that are growing outside, or not even vegetable. There are plants that grow who have better defense mechanisms than the ones who claim that they want to be kings. And if you knew something, you would know that there are no such thing. Those are man-made ideology. Why would you want to be a king anyway, is my question. Why would I want to be a queen? I don't want to be a queen. Why would I want to be a drag queen? Huh? I don't need labels to define me. All I know is that when you degrade me, my sisters, it goes to show that your inability to stay on point, or as you guys say, stay in code, you're not. Because you should have learned by now who you're not supposed to be listening to, who you should be listening to, who you need to stop ordering, and stop trying to give her a checklist of what it is to amount to being worthy of you. Have you ever thought for 1 second, perhaps it's not her job to be worthy for you?